Clint Oliver in slot 2. Derek Ness in slot 3. On deck, Jeff Allen, Michael Freeman, Alex Long. In the hole, Cody Albertson, Peter Anderson.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. We've got the amateur division coming up. All right. We got 2 groups of 9 for you this morning, or this afternoon, I guess. 18 guys in total. We'll have 2 groups of 9. We'll cut that down to 8, and then we'll go to 4, and then 2, and then we'll have a winner. In group 1, we've got Connor Kay, Jeff Allen, Cody Albertson, Clint Oliver, Michael Freeman, Peter Anderson, Derek Ness, Alex Long, and Landon Chestnut. Those will be the first 9 guys to go off. And round robin format, we'll be hitting 4 times. After the 4 rounds, we'll tally up the points, and the top 4 will be moving on. Points format for the round robin is going to work like it always does. 200 points for first place, 100 points for second place, 50 points for third place, 25 for fourth, and 0 if a player goes OB. And of course, after 4 rounds, we tally all those points up. Top 4 move on. We're in West Bountiful, Utah. Just at the base of the beautiful Rocky Mountains. You'll be able to see those in the background here when I switch. Clear skies. Not very much wind. And the first balls of the amateur competition are in the air. In slot 1, we've got Connor Kay. Slot 2 is Clint Oliver. Slot 3 is Derek Ness. We got the infamous John Griffin will be joining me here in the booth shortly. Oh, John just competed in the senior division.
All right. So we're not doing headsets?
No, just microphones. And speaking of the devil, he has arrived.
Loud and proud here, John Griffin, and pumping more wattage into your cottage. Welcome to West Bountiful, Utah. We've got the amateur event coming loud and proud. These guys are swinging away. Let's see what we can get. And by the way, thanks for everybody that watched me just utterly suck, you know what, 3 letters there on the senior event. But I do appreciate the support, and never stop trying. So on the box we've got Connor Kay and Clint Oliver and Derek Ness. Obviously, Derek doesn't have a number yet. Clint Oliver, so both 3 balls in 376. Connor Kay, 389 so far. We've got a tailwind blowing right now, and it kind of, what do you say, about 10 miles an hour or so? But it is definitely getting warmer as the day gets on.
Not too much wind. It's actually switched from the seniors. I think it was a little bit right to left. Here it's left to right. So we're getting a little bit of everything here in West Bountiful, Utah. And right out the gate, Connor looking to break 400.
Yeah. How old is Connor?
16.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
He's got the new Trent. Is this the next Trent Scruggs? This is insane.
Highly possible.
He's getting the hair for it.
Kid's got a lot of potential.
Yeah. I'm digging the shirt on Clint here. You kind of got a little coral action there. Looks like he should be out on the islands of Hawaii. So these are pretty good numbers from these guys. Looks like Connor is definitely filling up the grid for sure.
Yeah, at least 4 for 6. Still waiting on his 6th ball.
Okay, we're going to split according to this 376.
So they'll. So they tie, so they'll split second and third place points. So they'll get 75 apiece, according to my math, I think.
Yes, that's right. Are these guys? Are we hitting 4 or 5 sets?
They're hitting 4. We've got a weird number of competitors this week. We have 18 in the field, so we're doing 2 groups of 9. And we'll take the top 4 from each to our round of 8, and then just like we did with the seniors, we'll go 8 to 4 to 2.
Double elimination, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I was absolutely just stunned to see Eddie hit that 441. I was actually right behind him when he hit that, and I was just telling somebody inside in the restaurant that what was so scary about that ball is he made it look so effortless. So,
Wow.
And then talking with him there on the range afterwards, he's leaving tomorrow morning. He's got to fly to Charlotte for a pro-am.
Nice.
I was like, after you do this and you're going to go and do that. And
He's out there in my territory.
still getting on a plane to go play. That's pretty awesome. He's living the life.
Yeah, a lot of these guys, like you're saying, Eddie, Kyle, Martin, all these guys, they kind of live a rock star lifestyle, just constantly in an airport, flying around, playing golf.
Yeah, there's a lot of long drivers, at least they did. I don't know. I'm sure it's kind of picked up a little bit. They do a lot of the – hang on here. Okay. Just letting our guy Seamus call the numbers here to kind of let everybody know what you guys have seen on YouTube. Well, what I was getting at is a lot of these long drive guys, or at least used to, would do charity events during the week, and that's kind of how they made their bread and butter, making some decent money doing the charity events. I know Tommy Hug does it a lot. He's out in Dana Point, and you got Troy Teal, I believe, is in Seattle. A few guys, even Mobley, I think he does it. In the senior division, you got Vince Chirolini out of L.A. He'll be doing it some as well. So, there's definitely plenty of work to be had, as long as you can hit the ball far.
Yeah, it's always fun for me. I've been around. My dad's been doing this sport for 30 years, and I'm only 28 years old, so you can do the math there. I've been around this my entire life, and it's always fun for me. Not necessarily to watch the competitions, but to watch the fans, right? Because a lot of people that come out and watch these events, they've never seen somebody hit a ball 440 yards in person. So the look on their faces, it's a lot like what you would see from, say, like a groom at a wedding.
Right.
It's
like,
just like
wow.
shock and awe.
I tell you, the shock and awe that I just saw was a blast from the past that is actually hitting tomorrow, and I am so looking forward to this. Ryan Winther, oh my gosh. He is
looking good, too, looking healthy.
He's
nice and jacked.
Leaned out. He's jacked, he's lean, just a mean fight machine, if you will, but his mishits, when he was mishitting the ball there on the range, he was going 375 on a mishit. So I had my little radar. I had my little cheapo PRGR, whatever these stupid things are called, and he was hitting the ball so far and high that it wouldn't even pick up. It registered 150 on the club head speed, but that was it. So they put him on a Mevo Plus, and he was going about 210. But, yeah, it'll be fun to watch him. He's definitely quick.
There were so many balls from that last set in the grid that that's just taking so long right now is to space them out and get them all picked up.
Yeah.
But it looks like the grid's clear, and we're giving the go-ahead here.
And we definitely going to have a best dress contest here as well. Alex Long, slot 3, with the amazing shirt there. Flamingos and inner tubes. Michael Freeman's looking like he's got a L.A. Dodger kind of theme there with the blue and the white and the L.A. Dodger hat. And Jeff is just holding his own, swinging.
Jeff's one of our unsung heroes here at the PLDA. Pretty much does it all. If you can think of it, he can do it.
In what context?
That context. If you can think of it,
okay.
He can do it. Jeff helps out with just about anything.
Or we're talking behind the scenes, from ball calling, grid calling, all that stuff.
Yep.
Okay.
He works the grid. He does our internet, or helps out with our internet, helps with our live scoring. Jeff's actually the main puzzle piece when it comes to the live scoring. So,
yeah. And by the way, kudos to you guys finally getting the internet going. I wouldn't be able to compete in the last few events, but you got the internet up and running, man, and I appreciate it. 1,000%.
It's a struggle sometimes, but
I actually had 2 people watching me and texted me and said, "Hey, looking good."
Looking good.
425. That's your internet service provider for this weekend's competition, and for most, if not all, the PLDA events.
Yes.
So let me ask you something, Robbie. You said you've been doing this your whole life, so we know your father is a legend in this sport, and we thank him for being a major part of PLDA getting off the ground as we went through COVID and everything with all that happened. But my question to you is, when you were a kid in diapers, did you put a golf club in your hand?
Yeah, I actually I won my, not to brag or anything, but I actually won my first golf tournament at 2 years old.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he took me out to a father-son tournament, and
Right.
I had a little, about a 1.5 foot long putter, and he'd let me putt on the green. So he basically won the tournament by himself.
Right.
But it's just funny that I
Bragging
can
rights.
claim that I won my first golf tournament at 2 years old. So
You got any other siblings? I can't remember.
I do. I have a sister, an older sister, and I have a best friend that had a little bit of family issues growing up. So we actually claim him as a third child. So
Yep.
one younger brother, one older sister.
There you go. I think I've been a member of quite a few families there. So it looks like our final numbers, we've got Michael and Alex with no number, Jeff Allen in slot 1, 377. This grid's kind of tight, It's about 50 yards wide.
Yeah.
Give or take.
Somewhere between 50, 55.
All right.
Which isn't, it's about standard, I'd say. Mesquite's the largest at 60.
Yeah.
Which this is most we'll go. I mean, we won't go over 60 yards. But compared to, like Memphis, where Memphis is like, I want to say somewhere around 40, 45 yards wide, it's just, it's kind of scary to look at.
How wide is the grid at y'all's place?
60.
Oh, is it? It looks a lot wider, but it's funny. You look on camera here, same with the viewers on YouTube. It looks very small looking down grid, but, Bobby made a great point of the trees frame it all. So,
for sure. This one, I think the Rockies in the background here kind of play a little factor into the look of the grid. But you got to remember the grid minimum here in the amateur division, the open division, is 280 yards. So what you're looking at when you look down to the grid, most time the balls are flying anywhere from 350 to 360 yards. So yeah, on camera that's going to look rather narrow. But here in person, it is a little bit wider, at least in looks. It's funny because our signs only go out to 440 yards. The grid, obviously, we painted past that. But it's just funny that Eddie was able to hit it past all of our signs. So, and there technically is no limit to the grid. So theoretically speaking, we could continue the grid all the way up the Rocky Mountains back there. We would just have to run a tape measure from the very last line out to where the ball is. So, but 441 yards from Eddie Fernandez earlier in the senior division is just an absolute rocket of a golf ball. It's incredible. All right, Seamus is giving us the go-ahead. So on the tee box now, we've got Cody Albertson in slot 1, Peter Anderson in slot 2, and Landon Chestnut in slot 3. All right. See if I can catch. Looks like it's going to be high right for Landon there. First ball for Peter's OB as well. Wind's kind of died here. You can see T-claw flags over there on the left, swaying a little bit. Not too much going on. Got on the right side of the tee box here, though, you can see the PLDA flag. A little bit of a whip to it. Personally, underneath this tent, I don't feel anything. So, kind of strange wind going on, but not too much to worry about. And there's a few heels out in the grid. I know up the right side, the grid is painted kind of halfway up, sort of a ridge there. So anything that lands on the right side, right line is should get a a friendly kick back towards the middle. Left side's fairly flat for the most part. Most of these guys, right now, any shot shape would work, but I think the go-to shot shape for most of these guys is going to be a little bit right to left. So that little heel on the right side, right around 360 yards, seems to be the sweet spot.
Yep. I couldn't break 350 today, but it seems like that's where it bounces really well. The other thing I was going to say, what I've noticed with this grid is, if the right side is hotter, but it also is less forgiving, and if these guys kind of trail it more towards the right side, it's definitely going to have more of a chance of going OB. So that's actually what happened to me today. But, I'm not here to complain. I'm just, stating facts.
Yeah. And we do have a few heels out there.
What's that?
We do have a few heels out there on the right side.
Yeah. I think there's one not even before the 280 mark there.
Yeah. But they typically they'll give a little friendly bounce here and there, but
right.
Every once in a while you'll get that one that kind of defies physics and kicks up the hill.
Yeah, if any of our viewers are watching this on a large screen TV, you probably could see it the best, so. So it looks like Landon Chestnut pulled away on that last one, 381. Peter Anderson with a 0, no number, and Cody Albertson with 363. And then Peter Anderson is coming right back, and that's what I was kind of telling Bobby Bradley earlier when I'm in the middle of my hitting is sometimes it's hard to go back to back like that because you're trying to kill the ball, and this is a little bit different when you get on the box versus on the range. So here we go. I will say this, the blue balls actually, you can see them this time because you've got the topography of the mountain behind. That's kind of nice. You ask anybody that's hit, is the one ball the least favored is the blue, just because you can't see it.
It's funny.
So
it's funny you mentioned that because it's the same thing out at the one-stop power shop, right? When all these guys come into practice, nobody wants to hit the blue balls because you can't see them.
Right.
So when I get up and I'm hitting golf balls, the blue balls are one of the first ones I go for because they've got the fewest number of hits on them.
Oh, makes sense. Well, don't those balls, when they crack, they just kind of crack in the middle?
Yeah. You can kind of tell. The outside cover tends to show a little bit of wear and tear.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, as time goes on, they eventually just completely split, and you can see right through the golf ball.
Correct. We definitely do have a nice breeze, a tailwind, if you will. Not much, but it's enough. Now, they got nice disco music going right now. When I was hitting, it was all like this old 70s and 80s classic rock with occasional Metallica. Okay, slot 3 just poked one right.
We're just trying to make you guys feel young again.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I know during the regionals today, I think we went through every single Kesha song.
Every what time?
Kesha. Every single one of them that has been produced so far. So. And yes, Carter, we are hitting the top flight bomb. Any advice for first time at Worlds?
I would say this.
It's a marathon.
It's a marathon. Are we doing 4 days there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the biggest thing is conserve energy. If it were me and if I qualified, honestly, I would go out and do as much cardio as you can, and I'm talking almost like distance running because it's 4 days of nonstop. That's the best thing I could tell you. Don't waste your energy on the range.
It's all round robin.
You're kidding me.
Nope.
This is going to be an interesting year.
It's a lot of golf balls.
Yeah. So what do we mean by it's a versus other types? You say it's a round robin.
Yes.
Describe the other
So
format.
the other option is we have double elimination.
Yeah. So it's less sets.
It actually, believe it or not, the double elimination sometimes can end up being more sets.
If you tie.
If you tie, or if you drop down into the losers bracket, sometimes you can end up hitting a lot of sets.
Losers bracket can just be brutal. It's like a
Yes.
brawl because you're fighting your way back up to try to get back in.
And the whole time you're having to fight nerves and adrenaline and, like I said, time management and all
Yeah,
that
we have
stuff.
a special guest with us here, folks. This is Gabby Powell. Say hi, Gabby.
Hey guys, how's it going?
All right, there you go. Too bad you can't see her. She'd melt the camera, but we're holding tight here. We've got Landon Chestnut slot 1, Clint Oliver slot 2, and Jeff Allen in slot 3. But back to the point of the training for Worlds. Like I said, it's I think the art of conserving energy, and also since it's a mesquite, it's going to be hot. Hydration is always a key. What I always do is conserve the energy on the range. What I did today was, if you're hitting a 6-ball set, I would go over to the range and hit like maybe 2 or 3 in a 30 to 45 second interval, depending on when my next slot was up, just to keep me warm, but just not to waste energy. So a lot of guys, what I'll see on the range is they think they're trying to find this swing. You're not going to find it. So either you got it or you don't. So anyways, that's me. But, you're going to have – you ask that question 100 times, you're going to get 100 different answers. So –
the crazy thing about the round robin format is just depending on how the groups work out, there could be times where you'll hit 12 balls. You'll hit 2 sets of 6 right back to back, and then other times you'll go 15, 20,
well,
sometimes
that's
even
what
30
kills
minutes.
you. That's what will kill you.
Yeah.
If you're not used to that, like I went back to back today, then I waited 10 minutes before I hit again. So looks like we got slot 1 with a strong grip. Look at that. I lost these balls.
That's actually one of the first things that Bryson noticed when he was getting into it was that it's not easy to get to that like your maximum potential speed as like in a quick split second when you need it. Like it's one thing to warm up and to be ready and come over here to a tee box and do it, but to get warmed up, get to your maximum speed, and then have to sit down for 45 minutes and then come back and do it again
that's
is entirely different.
The high interval training. If anybody, I'm not trying to plug myself, but if you go to my Instagram feed, _John Griffin _, you're going to see a lot of really weird looking workouts. I got this from a PGA Tour players coach just for working out. A guy named Andrew Hannon out of Scottsdale, Arizona, works with Sophia Popov, I think is her name. Won recently in the women's last year. Scott Stalling, stuff like that. So he works with players, but exactly what you had said, Robbie. He gets it where you want to turn it on and turn it off like that. So it's like 0 to 100. In working out, a lot of my reps are really light but explosive. I mean, you've got to do very ballistic, explosive exercises. Believe it or not, a medicine ball is my favorite friend. Okay, slot 2 just hit a nugget. Let's see if that stays in. Clint's trying to hit a number. We've got Landon leading the pack here at 388, Jeff Allen at 349. Wow! If this next grouping that what I see over there in the hole coming up, this is going to be the crazy shirt bunch, man. Look at this. This is going to be fun. All right, so we wait for that last number here with Landon. Still waiting on his last one. I don't know if Clint got a number or not. Jeff Allen, looks like he got one number in, 349. So with the amateurs, what's interesting is, and this kind of holds true for most of long drive, is all you need is one ball in play, one ball. So back when the older format, when they had 8-ball sets, you always heard of someone getting 8-balled. That means, they had a good ball, and then the guy that they went against, OB, all 7 balls, the last ball in the grid, and they beat him. So that's what the term getting 8-balled came from. So I guess in theory it'd be 6-balled. here.
Yes, it has morphed into the 6-ball magic.
Yeah, exactly, because 8-ball makes me think of something totally else that is unrelated that I can't talk about. So.
No idea what you're talking about, John.
No. Yeah, I'm having a little fun out here in West Bountiful, Utah. Looking at a great crowd here on the bleachers. This will get more crowded. Tomorrow is going to be really fun. And stay tuned, folks, because we've got the women's coming up after this. And I'm here to tell you we've got some hitters today. So I'm looking forward to this. Look at this. Okay. What view are we on? Because we've got 2 of the crazy shirts. The third one didn't come. So, oh well.
They were teasing us over there. We'll get a quick look at how things have played out thus far. Connor Kay winning both his sets. He's at 400. Landon Chestnut, same at 400. Followed by Jeff Allen at 250 and Clint Oliver at 200.
Okay, this is annoying. I don't know if you guys can hear this, but right in the middle of my set when I was hitting, you had the starter calling guys to the first tee box. It doesn't really mess you up. You just tune it out, but it kind of catches you off guard if you're not used to it.
I think we also had a fire alarm go off or something.
You know what's funny? So that went on during the senior event as well, and it came on right at noon. And I know in some cities across the country, Friday at noon usually they sound a horn, and it's usually all right. Get off work early or whatever. You know, I know in Houston they do that. In some other cities they do it. They do it in San Francisco where I live. See, that's what I thought it was, but then I heard all this like false alarm, all this, and it's like, what is this? A bomb, drop and squat kind of shelter cover thing?
My first thought was that they were having problems at one of the refineries out here.
Oh, this will be a fun group here. Somebody was asking about clubs. So these guys are hitting the Patterson LD. It looks like a lot of them are hitting the LD 20 or 30. You got some D10s in there. LD 30 being about a 1.5 to 2x. The 10 being like a single soft. I call it the granny club.
Yeah, it's.
You got.
I don't know what the softest shaft you can think of is, but it's softer than that.
It's a granny shaft, yeah. All 48 inches long. We've got a measuring stick. Measures the clubs. So we got Cody Albertson in slot 2, Derek Ness slot 1, Michael Freeman in slot 3, back with the Dodger blue. Cody's an interesting guy. He's from Redding, California, along with the beard. Looks like a logger, but, man, he's country strong. The guy can get through with it. I asked him why he's not competing in the Open. He says he's still working on stuff. So guys will do that sometimes. They will stay in that class of the amateur division because it is tough. Don't get me wrong, but, they don't feel like they're not 100% dialed in. Let's see. We got the wind.
All right, so Michael Freeman first on the board at 300 yards. Derek and Cody still looking to get one in.
Worlds will be on YouTube, like the same channel, right?
Yep.
This year.
Yep.
Always looking for sponsorship, so if you want to put us on television, folks out there in internet land, feel free to reach out to the PLDA.
Yeah, if you got a multi-million-dollar production truck and want to drive it out to one of these events, by all means.
And a boom that's got a camera that's like 80 yards high.
Yeah.
I don't know
with ball tracing skills.
If anybody's ever been to one of those events when they used to do them, but it's pretty impressive. They've got a cherry picker that literally has a guy 100 feet in the air with a camera, just all the balls, and it's pretty cool though. All right, Cody finally got a number, 394. So if he can hold on, he will take the set with 200 points. Michael Freeman with 100, unless Derek can find a number here. Yeah.
And we are still missing some input from slot 1, so there is a chance that Derek has one in play. We just don't know about it yet.
Yeah, and that happened to me. It is 95 degrees outside right now, and if these iPads hit the sun more than like 3 to 5 minutes, they're going to overheat. So I know during one of my sets when I competed today, there was no numbers on the board at all, and it's because the iPad overheated. So, obviously I told them, simple fix, just go stick it in the ice chest for a couple minutes. Comes right back to life. It's pretty amazing.
Just dip it in one of the coolers,
Yeah, that's what I do. Just stick it in the cooler. As long as it's not too wet.
2, Landon Chestnut.
All right, so Derek did get one in, 367.
On deck, Peter Anderson, Jeff
So he'll
Allen,
take second there behind Cody at 394. And, it was a miss hit from Michael at 300 yards, but it was a ball in play. There is a positive you can take away from that. Flashback to Connecticut, I believe. I'm trying to think who was on the tee box. I want to say it was. I know it was Colton Casto. It was Isaiah Joyner. I want to say Sean Johnson, and I can't remember the fourth guy. But anyway, essentially they all four went OB. Isaiah hit a skyrocket off the toe that went 302 yards, which was enough. I mean, he got it in play, so he
won the set.
Yeah, he got 200 points. Well, actually, it was double elimination. So he moved on with a pop-up. The other guys ended up having to do a three-way playoff.
Nothing will beat that one thing. What was that event in New Jersey? Was who was those two? It was like a 2-hour set because it was raining, rain delay.
Yeah.
I forgot his name. Their names. But nobody could hit one in the grid.
Yeah, that was.
Mark,
I wasn't there. I can't. Not exactly sure. I'm gonna say fortunately I was not there because the conditions were absolutely miserable. Raining, wet, like you're saying, and like about a 30, 40 mile an hour headwind. Just I want to say they had to essentially restart the competition.
Yeah, they had stopped play for a bit because of lightning. That's the other thing with long drive events. Usually, you were going to play through all kinds of conditions unless there's, just obscene like weather, i.e. lightning or tornadoes. I've yet to see a tornado at an event though.
We got a scare in Colorado. It was crazy out there.
Wow.
I mean, out there in Colorado, you can see for miles. So we were getting some headwinds, or not headwinds, but some wild winds. And you look out into the distance, you start to see a little swirl in the clouds, and you just
funnel cloud.
Yeah, you start to pucker a little bit. You know?
I bet. So we on our next group here, Michael Freeman trying to find a number, Landon Chestnut and trying to find a number, and Connor once again showing up, he's got a 387 right out of the chute. It's really impressive. Man, I want to be 16 again. Actually,
right?
Yes and no.
I'd like to feel like a 16-year-old, physically at least.
Yeah.
You know?
Just bounce out of bed. You can run through walls. Thanks again for everybody joining us. This is kind of the dog days of summer with this event right now. We got the amateurs kind of trying to get after it. Michael's still trying to find a number in slot 1. Landon, slot 2, still trying to find a number. And Connor, 3 balls in play, 392 being the highest.
All right, so Connor's going to go to 600 points. OB for Landon. So he's at 400, though. Might not be too big of a deal that he went OB, assuming what he does in his fourth and final set. But, going OB is never a good thing.
No, it's 0 points. Well, depending on how I know in my event we always had a ghost player, so the ghost was 0. The next one up was 50, so the minimum you'd get was 50 if you were in play. But it looks like this is starting to shape up a little bit just after 2 sets, that you need to score at least 100 points to a set. So you got to be first or second.
And we're only taking 4. So right now
that's exactly it.
And that's Jeff Allen right now at 250 points.
So he's on. That's kind of the bubble right there.
Yeah.
Between Jeff and Clint, right?
Yeah, and we are just now starting our 3rd round. So
3 of how many rounds? 4.
4.
And then the 4 will go 8 to 4.
Yep. We'll
And
bring.
how many sets will those guys hit?
They're just like the seniors. It'll be a heads-up match. Top 2 move on.
Okay, so it'll be double elimination.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, after this, it'll get fun. But all these guys are swinging out of their minds, so it's good. You know, again, anybody interested in long drive, we invite you to come out to a local qualifier. Something tells me next year there'll be more opportunities. I know that places all around the country hold indoor on sims, you know, depending on weather, on the part of the country you live in, to kind of, if the weather's too bad, you know, they do a point system that way. So I'd always say refer back to the PLD website for any kind of future information. Okay, we've got on this set Peter Anderson, slot 1, Jeff Allen, slot 2, Derek Ness, slot 3. Oh, Derek just snuck a 375 in. Good for him.
Yeah, it's incredible, man. Like, it's called the amateur division, but there's really nothing amateur about it.
I don't think there's anything amateur about long drive, period.
So
I mean, when you get to the events, that is, the qualifiers are a little more forgiving, if you would agree.
yeah, for sure.
You know, guys are just trying to figure it out. A lot of times the guys don't have the right gear, and I think what people getting into long drive, what they soon realize is a long drive swing and the approach is a lot different from just playing golf. It's very, very different. And vice versa. You can't take a long drive swing to a golf course. Trust me, I've tried. I failed miserably.
Well, you would think that knowing that it would change the way I approach the golf course, but it doesn't. I walk out there with my 5 degree, 48 inches. And
Yeah, how far does that get you?
Just let it rip.
Let you go 350 OB?
Funny thing is, the driver actually doesn't hurt me as bad as my wedges do.
My
But,
wedge game's pretty strong. I'll give it that. My problem, you know, that I have, and I bet you a lot of guys out here can attest to this, is, you know, if you're used to killing the ball all the time, when you go out and play, you've got to tune it down, you know, a little bit, because, you know, how many people are hitting their pitching wedge, you know, 190 yards, 200 yards. So
Yeah.
it's not meant, you know, to do that.
Especially like, I mean, you take somebody like Kyle, who, like you're saying, is hitting a pitching wedge like 200 and some yards. Not only that, but the apex is a lot higher also, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and the higher up you go, the faster the wind gets. So the higher up and the more spin the ball has, the more it's going to move. So when you're hitting it that far with those kinds of clubs, it's to a certain point almost unpredictable.
Right.
On deck to get started on the fourth and final set. Lane Chestnut, Alex Long, and Derek Ness.
What does it take to get a session at the One Stop Power Shop? You have to make a phone call and schedule a time. And from there, it's best of luck.
I think the other thing to remember is, you know, I have yet to come out there, and I've been doing this for 6-7 years now. I mean, it's always, I'm not going to say it's a bucket list item, but I'd love to do that. But you won't figure it out in one session. So what makes some of these guys so good at their craft is the consistency of repeating that. So it might take more than one time. Just like, you know, working with a golf coach. You know, I heard a great saying. I forgot who was Tiger's first coach. Butch Harmon. Yeah, I saw a little snippet of a video, and he said, you know, when working with a golf coach, two things are happening. You're figuring out the coach, and he's figuring you out, and that can take 6 months. So you just got to stick with it.
It's very tough set there. That last set, it was only, I think, 3 or 4 yards separating first and third place there.
Oh, here's my set. All right, everybody on the internet, we've got just flaming wild shirts working. I mean, this is just perfect. Clint Oliver, Alex Long, Cody Albertsons. Love the shirts. Rock out with, you know what I mean. I'm not going to say anything else, something else out, but that's just styling. I got to stand up for this one. This is going to be a good one here.
Alex Long, Cody Albertson. Gentlemen, that grid is clear. Fire away.
Okay, Cody just pushed one right. These guys are swinging for the fences now. I think they know they need to get in. I think the pressure just got turned up a little bit. So Cody's got a two-way miss working right now because he's trying to make it. Looks like he blocked it right. Slot 2. It's always good to step away from the box and then go back in and kind of regroup. You've got 2 minutes and 30 seconds to hit these balls, so you're looking at on average about 20 to 24 seconds a ball. So we got any numbers yet here? We've got Clint with 365, Alex 0, and Cody 0. No balls in play yet. I hate using that word 0. I'm just going to have to start getting in that cadence. No mark. And an airplane flying above. Okay, Cody just hit one. If it stays in, nope, it looks like it's tracking left. Clint still in the lead after 3 balls with 365. Alex still trying to find a number as well as Cody. Sometimes you kind of dial it down a little bit. Instead of swinging 110%, dial it down to like 90 just to get one in play. Got to build on it.
Especially when that adrenaline hits, it's
yeah.
It can almost be detrimental sometimes. You get that horse running, you just got to kind of grab the reins before you can really take off.
Well, that's what happened on my second set, and a friend of mine pulled me. He looked over. I just kind of looked back, and he's like, dude, slow the F down. You got to slow down. And as soon as I did that, I was a little quick on the top. Everything kind of set in and was able to make contact. Okay, Cody got one. If it stays in, it's going to be tight, and I think it's going to bounce OB at the 320 mark. So no mark for Cody or Alex. Clint takes that set with 365. So let me ask you this, Robbie. You've got two players with no marks. What does that mean? Just 0-0?
No points.
So that could make things interesting.
Yeah, it definitely throws a monkey wrench in the point system.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it really kind of skews the points, right? Because you get the 200 points for the win like normal, but there's no second place points, there's no third place points. So what it does is it really messes with the bubble. So right now we've got Derek Ness at 350 points. So potentially 350 might get in. I doubt it, since we still got set 4 to come up with. I would take a guess here and say the bubble's going to be somewhere around 450.
Yeah.
But who knows?
We've got 4 more players to hit on this round, right? Yep.
So Clint is going to take that win. He's going to go to 400.
Well, he bumped up.
Yep. Still keeps the bubble at 350. There'll just be a 2-way tie there with Derek and Jeff. So.
What's funny is you can kind of tell a little bit now that these guys are getting winded. Here's where the conditioning comes in terms of the prep.
The worst part about splitting it up groups like this is if you're in the first group, you advance, but you still got to wait and sit around for the entire next group. So all that lactic acid starts to build up.
And that's why I'm surprised somebody hasn't brought out a stationary bike yet. Like you see in basketball games or something, football games. That would be something that I'm going to have to talk to the boys about. Get a bicycle out here, but then there'd probably be a line for people to get on it.
It'd be kind of hard to fit that in a suitcase, too.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, our guy in slot 3 just hit a nice high draw, bouncing now. Okay, that looks like, from what I can tell, about a 340. Let's see what the rollout is. This grid, folks, is baked. It's hard. The ball will bounce, which is really great if you're straight. If you bounce a little left or right, it could be really bad.
To that point about the stationary bike. Another thing is at Worlds we usually have a chiropractor come out. Dr.
Yes.
Dave likes to come out and sit up underneath the players' tent, and everybody really appreciates that. So.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I saw my sports medicine guy who works on rugby players, chiropractor guy, and I had no idea my range of motion was limited. And after the adjustment, it was like, wow. It's funny. I could turn to the right, great, kind of like backswing, but getting through on the left is where I was getting stuck. So it does help. All right, we got some numbers here. Landon Chestnut at 389. That's a good number. That's a really good number. Alex Long at 361 and Derek at 378. This is really good. Got ourselves a good set here, folks. So, you look at different swing types. You've got one-piece swings, two-piece swings, all different ways. But it's funny when I'm watching, or it's not funny at all, just an observation. I'm watching Landon swing, and he kind of winds it up and then releases it. So it's kind of like pulling back a bow and arrow. As he sets, you watch him in slot 1 in the green shirt. He'll pull back, and then he'll just release really hard. Pull back, boom. So looks like he missed it a little bit. That was a good set, folks. Landon 389, Alex at 361, and Derek at 380. That's kind of hard when you get within 10 yards of somebody, especially over 2 yards. I think right before my group today, somebody got within an inch of someone else or something like that. How do you measure ties and stuff? It's got to be 6 inches?
Yep. If it's within 6 inches, it's deemed a tie. And if it's round robin format, if it is the middle of the sets, you just split the points. But if it determines, say, whether someone gets eliminated or not,
right,
at that point we would have to go to a playoff. And if it's to decide whether or not somebody stays in the competition or has to go home, it's usually a 6-ball playoff. If it's just for seeding purposes, we'll typically just do 3. So Landon ends up winning that, and he goes to 600 points. So he's safely moving on to the next round. Derek Ness goes to 450. I'm predicting that 450 is going to be the bubble. So not quite time to celebrate for Derek, but he at least has given himself a shot.
Right.
Okay, so
this is second grouping of
round 4.
Round 4.
This is it. So this is a big set for Clint Oliver here in slot 3. Unfortunately, Peter Anderson and Michael Freeman are mathematically eliminated from the competition already. So it's just about Clint Oliver right now. He really needs this win to give himself the best chance. Well, he likes it.
Yeah, he does. Michael Freeman still looking for a number, and Peter Anderson's not showing up, so this is kind of what I alluded to earlier. I wonder if the iPad had got a little warm. Time to stick in the ice chest. Oh, there we go. He's got numbers 369. So Peter's taken the lead so far in this set. Michael now is doing what we call swinging out of your shoes. You can't let the frustration get to you. So it's happened to me 1,000 times as much as anybody else. So there's a mental game to this a lot of the times. So stay focused on one shot at a time. It's like Clint pushed that a little bit right.
See, this is what's so crazy about long drive, right? Like, even though Peter Anderson's mathematically not moving on, he can still ruin Clint Oliver's day.
Oh, absolutely. Without a doubt. He's not trying to. That's the thing. It's not. There's no animosity between these guys. It's a brotherhood out here. But, you know, by mistake, he might actually do that. But you can go that way, though, right? So can I go? If I made it to Ryan, would it reach? Yeah. All right.
All right. So Clint staring down his last ball. He needs to get 4 more yards.
Final group. In slot 1, Cody Albertson. Slot 2, Jeff Allen. Slot 3, Connor Kay. Again, at the end of this group, we'll tally up all the points, determine if there are any ties that need to be broken, and announce the top 4 players that will be moving on to the final 8.
So is that it? Or this is the last one? This is the last one for this round.
Yeah, we have one more set coming up. Then after that, we'll tally up the points. So Clint Oliver, coming in on his 6th ball, 378. So he did get the win. That puts him at 400 points. Currently the bubble. Never mind. Points just updated. He's at 600 points. So Clint, yikes. I could be completely wrong about the bubble.
That bubble might be 350.
So
450.
Connor's on the tee box now. He's at 600 points. Landon Chestnut's at 600.
Yeah,
Clint Oliver's at 600.
Those guys they're in.
Yeah. So Connor just needs to get a ball in play. And then we have Jeff and Cody. So this is interesting. It's an interesting stat. This is a battle between Jeff and Cody right now. So if Cody gets to win, he would go to 500, which would be enough. Jeff would go to 550 if he got the win.
This is going to be a good set here.
Yep. Little dogfight from slot 1 and slot 2. Connor K is just kind of hitting for fun right now.
Cody's got to slow down and just find the grid. You know, we talk about this a lot. Grid finders. You know, you want to build. First 2 balls, get on the grid, get in play, and then once that happens, you basically, you know, in theory, unleash the hounds of hell and just go after it. But you don't want to come out 130% right out of the chute. You know, if you're missing the ball a little bit there. I'm actually standing up right now trying to see these ball flights because we're under a little tent. Missed it. The crazy thing is these balls are coming out so hot that you just got to focus on one player. You can't focus on them all at once. So I'm going to focus on slot 3 right now. And he hit nice high. It looks like it's kind of pushing a little bit to the right, and that's going to be OB. So now I'm going to focus on slot 2. The guy in the dark blue shirt, which is Jeff Allen. Let's see what he's got. And I missed it. Just like that, he must have pulled it up. He skied it straight up. A lot of times when you see guys sky the ball, usually they're hitting down on it too hard or they're, you know, imbalance in sequencing. It's a quick adjustment. It can be fixed. Okay, so he going left, pushing right, so we actually might get this in play. Dropping now. Iffy. So Jeff's got the number 371, so he's okay. Cody and Connor are on the ropes right now trying to get it. Obviously, Connor's in, but I think this is going to be Cody's last ball, so I'm going to follow Cody's ball now.
397 for Connor. So.
Oh, 397. Are you kidding me? Okay, I missed it. I wasn't looking. Sometimes these guys will yell at it and stuff like that. Unless you're Zach Adams, I think he yelled at anything under the sun.
The only time we won't hear Zach yell is if he completely misses the golf ball. Even then, he might yell.
Yeah, we call that humbling.
Yeah, so Connor was pretty much just hitting for fun there, but he decided to go for 400 anyway. So that's going to put him at 800 points, which would be.
You know what?
I was going to try and guess the seeding, but there's really no way to tell because we have a whole nother group to come up. So.
Okay. So this is the last group.
We have 9 more competitors that have to go through a 4-round round robin after this. So.
Oh.
So yeah, Connor, Landon, Clint, and whoever comes in fourth will have to sit down for roughly 45 minutes to an hour, and then come back up and try to finish it off.
Right. You know what I was going to say? Last time you guys were in Mesquite, you had the women's on at night. I got a lot of positive response on that.
Yes,
so
I believe.
It poses the question, will we potentially in the future see night competition or evening competition? And I only say that because the ambiance, but more importantly, on the screen you can see the ball better.
Yes. I don't think there was any negative comments on the nighttime competition.
No, it was absolutely amazing.
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Unfortunately, that grid has lights everywhere except on the tee box. So we had to bring in lights, which wasn't hard to do. We rent them, bring them in, set them up. I would like to see more competitions at night. So to answer your question, I hope so.
Well, I think there's kind of an luster to it, if you will. Like, I'm not going to use the word nostalgic. It's just the ambiance is so different, and it's fun.
Yeah. And I mean, you're out in the desert, so you get the nice dark mesa in the background, and then the lights lighten up the beautiful green grass and the turf that they got going on there at the facility. It's just it really looks good.
Anytime you see a goofy video on social media from Top Golf, it's always at night. Same thing.
Yep. Well, there you have it. There's your top 4 moving on to later this afternoon. We got Connor Kay, Landon Chestnut, Clint Oliver, and Derek Ness. So 450 did end up being the bubble.
It did?
Yep.
Okay.
I should have more confidence in my Rain Man skills. But we're moving right on into it. We've got the next group of 9 coming up right now.
Did this guy bring his dog with him? He's got a sheepdog with him.
Yes. St. Bernard, I believe.
Oh, is that what that is? St. Bernard.
So.
Okay. I need to learn my dog breeds a little better. So, we've got a lot of buzz out on the range. We've got some of the women starting to show up and loosen up a little bit. I think they're going to be hitting here within the next hour. So, folks.
And that's going to be an absolute slugfest.
Yeah. 100%. It's going to be fun. So we got here, looks like up next. Go back to where you were. What?
That's it.
We
Casey
missed it.
Seed in slot 4 or slot 1. Daniel Owen in slot 2, and Kenny Forster in slot 3.
Right. God bless America. That's all I can say. You got to be here to understand that quote, but you may understand it.
All right, we're getting the final confirmations from Seamus before we get started here.
Yep. I don't know. You can barely hear the guy talking, Seamus. He's kind of the grand wizard of all this. We've got guys sitting behind the hitters that call the ball. We've got guys on the grid that actually call the number back to the guys to enter it in. And then Seamus is the one entering that in and slotting. So It's kind of like the MC, if you will.
He's definitely the MC.
You know, he is in the Matrix. That's what I call that, where he's at right now. You know, he's Neo, and he's definitely he's in the middle of it.
He's the one-man show when it comes to the official scoring system that we got going on. And he's also our DJ. So wearing a lot of hats right now.
As you as well. Okay, Kenny's still trying to find a number here. We've got 376 for Daniel, and Casey's still trying to find a number. I missed it. Oh, Casey looks like he went a little hot and did we'll call a snap hook. Went straight left. Daniel's sitting at 376. He's got like a quick follow through, which is good. Oh, there we go. Oh, he pulled it left. Slot 2 hitting in the red, and he is going to block it a little push right, so that will be out of play. It's funny, you see enough swings, you kind of know what is going to happen without seeing the ball. I kind of like slot 1, Casey, the way he steps into it. A lot of guys will do that to get the ground working and get how they feel the ground, so he'll step into it on the downswing. It's kind of a tricky move to do, but once you get it down, and it can definitely help with the power. So, you know, I know you guys can't see it out there in internet land, but, you know, one of the things with long drivers is, unlike when you're on the range and you see guys taking divots, these guys are actually taking divots with their feet. If you were to see the tee boxes right now, they are straight up 8 up. So we've got sand showing, et cetera, because they're using the ground so much and pushing and pulling. It's a natural thing. No coach, but I would definitely say Kenny kind of dial it down a little bit, relax. So slot 3, Kenny went 355 with his best ball. Daniel's at 376, 1 ball left. And Casey, they haven't called back his last 2 balls. But looks like he has got 381. So this is the second group of 9, first set, first group. They're doing 4, so you're going to hit a total of 24 balls. That's just to get to the second round. And then, you know, you go 24, then you hit another, I guess if it's double elimination, in theory, it could be 6 or less. Yeah, but
they only hit 6, and then we'll take the top 2.
I think my point is this, is you get down to the last 2.
Yeah.
How many golf balls do you think they've hit?
Well, they'll hit 24, and then another 6 to 30. And then the final 4 for 36, and then they'll have to hit another 6 to win. So
about 48?
Yeah.
48 golf balls. So you think about that. If you're warming up on the range, this is where you're going to have to pace yourself. You don't want to come in and hit 100 balls unless you're Kyle, obviously. Kyle doesn't get warmed up. He's a freak. He doesn't get warmed up to 150, you know. So
or your last name's Ziegler, and then you just hit golf balls all day long.
My buddy is a good friend of mine. I'm not trying to call him out here, but Daniel Lambert, he's just a range maniac. I thought I'd look and you're like, what are you saying? A lot of times I have to. Okay, I am digging slot 3 shirt. I don't know. It's a little muted, but for me, I would say this is the shirt for me. Got the flowers working. I'm digging it. Okay, we need to switch up our...
Yeah, I'll take a look at that here in a second.
All right, we are in our second group. Okay, Kevin Moudron, I know he's actually up in the Sacramento, California area, which is otherwise known as NorCal. Good dude, new to the sport, hitting as an amateur. And he just hit 1, and that's in play. And here's what I was talking about. I don't know if you guys can hear this, but we got a guy. a starter on the microphone calling people into play their round of golf. So they are playing active rounds of golf around here right now as well. So Kevin trying to find a number. Connor at 377. This is Connor Starrett. And then Dylan Orr still trying to find a number. Digging the shirt game on Dylan on slot 3. I'm definitely going to have to ask him where he got that. Uh-oh. We got a yeller. We got a yeller. Okay, here we go. Loud and proud. So Kevin went 355. He posted a number. Connor 377. Dylan's trying to find a number. Looks like he got one off that's good. He's trying to get it to. He's waving it back. So started right and trying to get it to draw back in. Looking at us crowd here. Too bad you guys can't see this. Looks like we got Jacob Galladay, and then of course we got Martin Borgheimer chatting it up with Josh Kosh. Stephen Coy just kind of parlaying, as they say. So we definitely got tomorrow's hitters watching. I think they're all getting ready for the women's too. And here we go, slot 3. See if it stays in, that's good. But it looks like it's going to track left. It's in. It just bounced out. Close. So Dylan went 372 actually. So he got second. Kevin 355. Connor at 377 is his best number until they call that last number back. So we've got Connor with 100 points, Dylan with 100 points, and Kevin with 50. And that was the story of my life today. I was the 50-point man. It was an embarrassment.
In slot 1, Matthew Love. In slot 2, James Anderson. In slot 3, Max Roma. On deck for set 2, Dylan Orr, Casey Steen, and James Anderson.
Oh, look at another kind of wild shirt. You know, I'm starting to see a theme here, Robbie, in long drive. You know, the louder the shirt, the better. I mean,
Yes.
is there going to be a resurgence of the loudmouth brand that John Daly so currently had?
That depends. Depends on whether or not I can find them. I've got some in my closet. I just need to whip them out.
I think they were a little, I look back now, and maybe they were cool at the time, but I think they were a little on the borderline obnoxious.
Oh, I wore them first day of school. You know,
Oh,
I had to
okay.
set the tone.
All right, well, there you go. But some of this is a little more muted and a little more fun. Matthew Love, slot 1, I'm kind of digging the shirt. His shirt game's kind of strong. It's pretty good. All right, here we go. Oh, a lefty versus a righty. There we go. It's a low runner. You know what? That actually is going to run. That is going to run. He hit that straight in the grid, and it's bouncing like 5,000 yards. Max Rompa just hit a worm burner, and it's going to be in play. James with no number, Matthew with no number still. So Matthew in the shirt game there, hitting the blue ball, which is hard to see. I'm going to see if I can track it right now for you folks. Nope. Nothing. This is also the time of day right now with the angle of the sun makes it kind of difficult to track balls. So Matthew just got 349 on his first ball. James still working a mark, nothing yet. And Max at 359. So I think I'm starting to notice a trend here. So Max is definitely playing the low game. Yeah, see that first ball that was a runner, 359. That ball wasn't over 50 feet high. So it was just an absolute missile. Straight low missile. A scud, if you will. Robbie, I hope you're drinking water because you've been doing this since, 8 a.m.? No, we went live at 11, right?
Been out here since 5:30 this morning. Yeah, I've been drinking a lot.
I was telling Tom peppered this earlier after the seniors went that next year I might go into the amateurs because the reason why is Kevin Shook Knight is going to be now in the seniors. And then the guy behind me, Ryan Respect's also going to be eligible for seniors. There's no point in me swinging between. Yeah. You know what? If you're hitting 441-yard balls at 51 years old like Eddie Fernandez, I don't think so. I mean, there's stupid, and then there's Eddie. I mean, that was a sight.
Yeah, that 441 from Eddie is in contention. Probably be the longest ball of the entire weekend.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So get some interesting information here. Guy coming up on slot 3, and you'll see a lot of this crossover. A lot of long drive guys come from the baseball world, ex-pitchers, catchers, what have you. A lot of rotation involved in baseball that kind of transfers over into the long drive as well. So the other thing that I just found out is the guy in slot 3 was a middle linebacker for the Carolina Panthers, my friend. So the guy's got thighs like Earl Campbell. I mean, the guy's just stacked. So, if he can make contact, the guy's strong as an ox. So, so this is also very humbling. Have these guys? So this is some of these guys' first times to hit this weekend. So the guy in slot 3, he's hitting the ball, he's flighting it kind of high. It's good, a little spin on it. So I'm referring to James Anderson, slot 3, again, middle linebacker for the Carolina Panthers. I don't know if he still plays. I doubt it because he'd be at camp.
No, he's retired.
Yeah, he's retired. Okay.
Little fun fact though, he
there we go. He got one. So it's tracking 3, 2, 1. Is it going to stay in? It bounces left. It will, and I can't tell. I think that's out. So
little fun fact about James and his time at Carolina, he actually he set the record for most tackles in a game at 22.
We call that lightning in a bottle.
Yes.
If he could just release it a little sooner, he'd get it. So no numbers yet. Actually, Dylan Orr with a 359. We've got Dylan Orr taking that set at 359. Casey Steed, no mark. From what I can tell, James, no mark, and that was a tie. But I don't think that really means anything.
Second set in slot 1, Max Rompa. Slot 2, Daniel Owen. Slot 3, Connor Sterrett.
All right, a little recap of how everything's playing out so far. Casey Steed, Connor Sterrett, and James Anderson all taking their first sets. So they have 200 points. Daniel Owen, Dylan Orr, and Max Rompa second. Looks like Dylan Orr is going to take his second set from just now, so he'll jump up to 300 points. Unfortunately, no marks for Casey Steed or James Anderson.
It's about that time of day when the flies come out, my friend.
Yes.
Our wind has dropped. We have no wind hardly, so it just got kind of stale. But it is roughly, I'd say, about 95 degrees at the moment, so we're at the hottest part of the day. How that translates, that means the ball has the best opportunity to go the furthest under the heat. It's got Max on slot 1, Daniel in slot 2, Connor in slot 3. Oh, I just got corrected. It's only 88. It's a hot 88 regardless.
All right, so we got a 369 from Max and a 382 from Connor.
Oh, it's kind of surreal watching the lefty and the righty back to back when they swing. You know, it is hard. I can say for myself that whenever you're on the box and I'm a righty and then there's a lefty right next to me and like you're staring at him in the face. So you almost have to time it. Like one of you has to hit first because you can't. It's just weird. I don't know how else other to describe that.
It's funny you mentioned that because I actually used a little gamesmanship with that. I'll give the guy in front of me a little awkward look every once in a while.
I see.
Just to kind of throw him off.
Yeah. You're playing that game, the mental game.
Hey man, I learned from the best. Old David Mobley.
Oh, Mobley's hilarious. I remember one time, I don't know where I was at. I think it was Hawks Landing, and was it Hawks Landing? It was one event like 5-6 years ago, or maybe it was Mesquite, and somebody came up. I think it was Eddie. It was Eddie or maybe Tommy Hug, and they're like, "Yeah, you got to be careful on the left side of the grid because it's catching. It's not hot." Well, they were lying. The left side of the grid was the hottest part of the grid. They were just playing that mental game, so you hit it right. So you get a little bit of that, I would honestly say the best thing to do is walk the grid if you can.
100%.
I didn't get to do that here, but I mean, you can tell the beauty of this is you could see everything.
There's no substitute whatsoever for doing your own homework.
Mm-hmm.
So getting out here early, going out, looking at the grid, seeing how things are doing,
right,
and actually watching balls come in and how they react to the grid.
Makes sense. So Max 369, Daniel 373, Connor at 382. Oh boy, shirt game coming back in.
On deck to start set 3, Kevin Madrone, Max Ropa, and Casey Steed.
Just gave my boy a little nugget.
Hey man, no
advice.
coaching out of the
Hey,
booth.
no, hey, I don't coach the guy. Just, friend to friend, right?
That's the one thing I love about this thing, man. Like, we encourage people to be vocal, right? Like, we don't really tell people not to do too many things, right?
Well, there's too many things to think about. That's the thing. Is the best thing to do is not think at all. And at the end of the day, the only competitor is yourself. It's, if you really think about it.
So you get a Zach Adams yell in your backswing.
Oh my gosh!
Jump out of your shoes.
I can't handle it. No, Zach's a good dude. That's his mental game. He's trying to psych himself out. He's trying to get that extra adrenaline going, that fight or flight mode. Like, I'm going to go to war. You'll see guys do that.
It's kind of the same thing. You'll see some guys they'll like almost physically abuse themselves by slapping.
Oh yeah,
Castro does a lot. Connor does.
Oh yeah, every time he swings, he does that. He kind of does that almost like he's trying to slap a horse. Since Martin Borgheimer's here, this is Martin Borgheimer music. He doesn't hear me.
He said Borgheimer.
Kevin with a pull left. Let's see here. Slot 2. Okay, he got one, and that is going to be in play. I don't see that. Might go right. Currently, where are we at? No numbers, no marks.
Another little fun fact: like I don't dance, but there's a particular move in this song called the SpongeBob, and I actually learned how to do it, and actually got my entire PE class out of trouble one time doing it in front of a teacher.
And what grade was this?
Senior year in high school. Had a little fight. Had a little fun fight in the locker room, and
fun fight.
Yeah, a little.
I don't know any fights that are fun.
Oh, it was fun for us. I don't know about the guys fighting, but.
So you were you that guy? Were you instigated and you walked away?
Absolutely.
Sugar.
I totally encouraged them to beat the hell out of each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, teacher heard it, wanted to know what was going on, so I spoke up real quick and said, "Oh yeah, we're just having a little dance off." She didn't believe me, so I had to prove it with the SpongeBob. So.
And we call that on the fly. Thinking, that is. All right, so right now we've got Kevin at 340. Both Kevin and Kenny, no mark yet. Matthew just posted a 352. Guys are coming up on their final ball or two. Matthew's all of a sudden becoming a little more vocal. He's talking to it. So you'll see a lot of guys talking to their balls to make sure they go. No pun intended. Oh, so he kind of pulled that. So that was... He wanted to catch it. So we got one on slot 1 is going to fade. Kevin just went right.
They're stopping the tee, starting off set 3. In slot 1, Kevin Madrone. Slot 2, Max Rolfa. Slot 3, Casey Steve. On deck, James Anderson, Connor Sterrett, Kenny Forrester.
Right. So Matt took that set at 352. Kenny, no mark, and neither with Kevin. How are we doing on our points here so far? 200 on...
I don't think that's updated. Let me give it a quick refresh here.
Looks like some of the YouTube videos just saw the God Bless America as well. So,
yep,
stay tuned. Stay tuned. There's going to be a very scenic women's division coming up.
Yeah, the ladies' division is going to be really interesting.
Yeah.
Yesterday, Monica Living was out here hitting, and I think I convinced her to hit for fun in the local, and she ended up hitting it 363 yards and qualifying for the regional.
You know,
today.
I was talking to her for a little bit, and I didn't even know who she was, and then until I heard that afterwards, and I was like, what? That actually got a follow from me on Instagram. I was like, I'm impressed, and I don't impress easily.
So yeah, keep an eye out for Monica. I'm gonna go ahead and say it now. She's my favorite to win this week.
All right. Robbie's calling his shot on this one, or calling his number with Monica. Okay, it's like slot 3. Just two OB balls. One was faded right, and the other was pulled left. Also, this is where it gets kind of hard. Is the slot? Excuse me. The set 4, 3, 4, and 5 can be tricky because you got all the energy out of you. You're kind of set, and you're tired. But here's where the fatigue will come in. So Kevin hit a good ball. That's in play. Kevin with 351. Casey with 375. Looks like Max is no mark yet. Yeah, these guys are flighting the ball pretty well right now. They just got to get it there. 375 on Casey. Just watching him warm up on the range. He's definitely he's dialed in. I'll tell you another thing that's impressive when you watch these guys' numbers come up. If you see a guy that gets all the numbers in the grid, or a ball, should I say, in the grid, that's a hard feat to do. You know, I just got blessed by one of America's finest, flying high, U.S. Air Force, Brandon Flynn. How you doing?
Mr. John Griffin, how you doing?
Look at him. He's this is what fighter pilots are like. If you've ever dealt with a fighter pilot, I mean, they're cooler than the underside of a pillow. I mean, it's like smooth. How's it feel coming off that win that you had? It was in Canada, right?
That's correct. I appreciate you comparing me to a fighter pilot, even though I've never flown in my life. But I do appreciate that.
You know, it's the thought that counts. I think Air Force, I think F-16, F-14, call it what you want.
Navy, you drive submarines. It's same thing, yeah.
I think Brandon was more of a scientist. Am I correct?
I was a meteorologist, yes. I was a meteorologist, so I watched volcanoes while I was in there, believe it or not.
Well, how come I'm not seeing you on television calling the weather, you know? A good chance the sun will come up, good chance the sun will go down.
Somebody told me I had a face for radio.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's why I'm over here.
Yeah, well, you know, I don't have a face for either, so I'm kind of done.
There's a reason I'm behind the cameras.
What are you talking about, Robbie? Everybody wants to see the lettuce.
Hey,
Yeah,
man,
Robbie's got some lettuce.
you got to
It's
build up
looking
the
good.
hype, all right?
Okay, here we go. James Anderson, slot 1. Connor Sterrett in slot 2. Kenny Forster in slot 3. Let's see what we can get here. So like Connor got a number, 370. James still trying to find a mark. Kenny at 351. Looks like these guys are all hitting Patterson shafts, just from what I can tell. Hitting epic speed, and I can't tell what James is hitting. It almost looks like, is that a Cobra? He just hit, yeah.
So Connor working 370. Kenny working 351.
James no mark.
Again, here in the booth, I am the infamous DJ Rob Nasty,
Rub Nasty.
joined here by John Griffin and Brandon Flynn.
We got any questions? I haven't looked over here in a little bit. Are we kind of quiet? What is the name of the second person commenting? Oh, that would be me, John Griffin. He probably says I suck.
Oh, you're second?
I'm second.
I was second.
I don't know. Who knows? What up, Mikey Boonar? Is that how you say it? I hope I didn't butcher that. So it's getting kind of a camaraderie around here. Josh Kosh showed up, and I think a lot of it's because everybody's trying to get out of the sun, so they are kind of hoarding around the tents, if you will. It's a very warm 88, if not 90. So, Brandon, what time do you hit tomorrow?
I'm at 10:30 tomorrow.
10:30. Okay. I will be here with Robbie. I'll be here most of the morning.
Probably when the YouTube video, like the number of views is going to go skyrocketing. Probably right around 10:30.
How you feeling?
Not bad. Lower back's a little tender right now, so hopefully that goes away in the next, 16 hours or so.
What do you attribute that from? Just overhitting?
No, not really. I think I stretched a little too hard yesterday, if that's a thing.
Yeah, no, that's very much a thing. I think you don't do anything. Well, that mat that they have over there, it's a device used for blood circulation. They've got like a belt version, a spot version where you can put it somewhere, but it's supposed to increase blood flow. So.
Okay. But otherwise, I feel pretty good. We're on a good upward trend, so hopefully tomorrow we can bring the heat again.
Fair enough. Where are you living these days?
Just north of Atlanta. Hot Atlanta, which is true.
Oh, so are you in Duluth?
No, I'm not. Not in Duluth.
So Brandon lives down in the land of every street's got the word peach in it. Peach tree this, peach lane that.
Yeah. Supposedly they like peaches.
So from what I remember, are you in DeKalb County?
Honestly, I don't even remember what county I'm in.
The counties on the license plates they always had.
I think it's Fulton County is what I'm in.
Okay, Fulton it is. Sorry, I'll give you a little trivia here about one of our hitters. I was trying to explain to the viewers here. It's interesting. You get in a slot, the fourth set out of 5 or what have you, it starts to get kind of tiring because you've exerted all your energy in the first 2, and then it becomes a challenge sometimes.
Well, I think what people don't realize too is you got to warm up, get the body ready. So you're hitting swings there, then you're hitting out here, then you got to stay loose and keep hitting out on the range. So it's just a constant heavy hitting day. So you got to prepare yourself so you can bring the heat when the time is right.
Well, that's what I was trying to say earlier. It's like you got to go from 0 to 100 and then stop, and then 0 to 100 and then stop.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing I try myself is not to, eat at the all-you-can-eat buffet at the range. Be selective, hit just a few balls between sets to have the consistency, and that's it.
Yep, that's a good point.
My first time I ever competed it here 6 years ago, I must have gone through 200 range balls.
I believe it.
Oops.
It's easy to do. Yeah, that's a rookie mistake.
Well, because you just don't know.
That's a good ball.
Yeah, it is.
That's a real good ball.
I'm digging Slot 2's shirt. I mean, his shirt game's on point for me. Dylan Orr is his name. So we got Daniel at 363. You got Matthew at 345. Dylan's still trying to find a mark. Oh, if you want to follow me on Instagram, this is a shameless plug. _John Griffin. _John Griffin. I'm not trying to promote myself, but a lot of humor there, a lot of working out. I do very much out-of-the-box stuff. It'll make you scratch your head, but it works because it's not weird if it works. Looks like we've got about 800 people here watching in the stands right now. We got another 200 behind the competitors on the range, so we are filling it up. Slot 1 just hit a nugget. It looks like it's going to be tracking left. I don't know if it's going to stay in play. No, it actually hit the 320 sign. That would be OB. Slot 3 just pushed one right. So it looks like our final ball numbers, Dylan with no mark. Daniel 371. That was in slot 1. And then slot 3, Matthew 357.
I hate to say it, but that could end up being a very costly mistake from Dylan there. He was currently sitting in 3rd place at 300 points. That OB is going to leave him there at 300 points. Matthew Love and Daniel Owen both getting points there. So Daniel Owen getting the win. He'll go to 400 points.
Yeah, with a 371. That's actually a good ball. Yep. Hey, you missed Eddie. Did you see Eddie hitting his 441? Yeah, I got a nice video of that. That was insane. Who else on the planet's 51 years old and hits a ball 441 yards? I mean, that's the longest ball of the week. Yeah. They made a song. They made a song by Digital Underground about him, the freaks of the industry. Hey, it's got to be relatable to something, right? Oh, and so we got our starter again, calling the next group out to play golf.
And at least the fans watching gets to know who's about to tee off,
Yeah, that's true. If it's meaningful. A long time ago at this event, the Rockwell Blast used to have a tournament.
Yeah, the pro-am. A lot of logistics go into that.
Oh yeah, I know.
If you've never hosted a golf tournament, you just don't know like what all goes into it. But it's not something that I would want to do. Let's put it that way.
Oh my gosh, hang on. I just got some love from Dane DeBoer. Hang on, and good to see you, man. Good to see you. Is your son here?
Brant's here.
So Brant's here. He's going to be competing when?
Early morning, the morning group tomorrow.
Okay, well, I'll be here loud and proud. 0900.
Yeah, John, you're the boss. See you on the mic.
It's funny. I got a funny story for you. Internet land. So the man I'm talking to is Brant's father, and I thought it was Brant. So I started communicating with him on Instagram, thinking it was him, saying, "Hey, I'm going to the range. You want to meet me here?" And then he finally like, "Dude, I'm not Brant. I was like, because it's the DeBoer part on the Instagram feed."
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So he hails from Southern California.
Yep.
And same with Brant too, right?
Well, Brant's right out of he's right there by Disneyland. If everybody
Anaheim?
knows that area. No,
Tustin.
Yeah.
So that's why I always hit at Islands.
Absolutely. We're going to see you out there soon.
Well, you guys don't hit on the week though. You hit on the weekends, right?
Yeah, if you're there, we'll be there.
All right. Well, we'll talk more and more. So sorry, I had a little sidebar conversation. Great to see you.
Watch these guys.
Oh yeah, I'm digging it. So we've got Max with no mark, Dylan at 364, Kenny Forrester at 368. So Dylan's trying to fight back from that OB set that he had. He just went back to back, right? Dylan hit this last set too. So he's got to feel the fatigue a little bit. Yeah, I see he's working 2 gloves. Some guys will do that just because both of them. Slot 1 as well, working 2 gloves. Max, a lot of times when I hit, I don't wear a glove. Unfortunately, I got that from bad habit from Tommy Hug. Tommy, I know you're not listening, but thanks for that. Unless it's really hot or sweaty, then I'll put on a glove just because I just really want to feel the shaft. Or if I'm in humidity. Anywhere where there's humidity, you have to wear a glove, if not 5. But out here, it's really dry. It's arid. We're at about a 5,000-foot elevation. We've got a little bit of a breeze coming about 2 to 3 miles an hour, not much. You get a nice breeze that kicks up towards the mountains, and these balls can go super far. And that's what we had during the latter part of the seniors division. We talk about conditions. This is a hard grid. What I mean by that is those balls, whenever they hit the grid, they are bouncing, they are running, they are rolling. And that can go in 2 ways. It either can go OB or it can be a really good rollout.
All right, here's where things get spicy. Coming up, we're going in set 4. Right now, we got Connor Starrett at 600 points, Casey Steed 400 points, Daniel Owen 400 points, Matt Love at 350, Dylan Orr at 300, and James Anderson at 300. Max Rompa is currently sitting at 250, and Kenny Forster and Kevin Madrone both at 100. Max Rompa, Kenny Forster, and Kevin Madrone are mathematically eliminated. James Anderson and Dylan Orr mathematically still have a chance. So Dylan got the win. He's at 500. So 2 wins and a second place for Dylan. That OB set might not be any of consequence whatsoever. And stay tuned. It's a nail biter. So this is a big set for James Anderson.
If you just saw Daniel, his fall through, that's usually a tell. Like he just kind of fell out of it. That means he didn't like that hit, obviously. It's like he has a lower stance. And Dylan pulled that one left. Let's see here what our numbers. Nothing yet.
Nothing so far.
Okay. We should have a booby prize. A booby prize. Consolation.
A consolation.
Runner-up prize kind of thing.
I
Set of steak knives.
I believe they call that the experience.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, it's not every day you get to come out here and see the lettuce.
My sidekick here is really trying to pour on the charm. call that in one ear and out the other.
All right, so James Anderson at 355. All right, so Daniel Owen down to his 6th ball. He needs this.
Sorry, I just ran across somebody from Boston, and I just got educated on how to talk Southie and taken to fiery. I thought it was wicked bizarre. Anyways. How about an odd bot going to the park to drink some cutty sock with Marky Mark? There we go.
All right.
So,
So that's it for there. James Anderson is going to take it at 356.
That's right.
That's going to put him at 500. Daniel Owen ended up going OB. So I don't think
Somebody's coming in looking for tape.
I think that's pretty much set. Casey Steed only needs to get one in play, and he'll be through to the next round.
So one of our competitors is playing with a broken finger.
Yep, Daniel broke his finger very recently. So
yeah, he just came over here to the booth, and his finger was kind of shaking and tweaking a little bit. And I was like, "You okay?" I thought it was nerves, and no, his broken finger out of place. I was like, "How are you going to swing for the fences with a broken finger?" So anything it takes, folks. Anything it takes.
all right, so we got Connor Sterrett, Matthew Love, and Casey Steed. This is a big set for Matthew Love. He needs to win here. Connor Sterrett is sitting pretty. He doesn't really have to worry about anything. He's probably moving on to the next round.
These are just reps that Connor's taking.
Same thing for Casey. Casey's more than likely through to the next round. Really just needs to get a ball in play.
Yeah. If I were these two, I would just kind of conserve energy, to be honest with you.
Well, they can't do that because they got Matthew Love back there, and Matt could break some hearts here in this set if he gets the win.
The bubble breaker. I think there used to be a term for that. You know, even though you weren't in, but yet you could hurt somebody, you could break somebody's chances. I forgot what they call that.
Yeah, I don't think it's anything that we could say on the stream.
Okay,
but yeah,
there you go.
I do remember there being a term for it.
Sorry about that. I forgot this is PG.
All right, so Casey Steed in at 374.
Matthew was yelling at the ball. He must like it.
Casey Steed, 3 for 3 so far. And Connor Sterrett finally on the board at 371. And Matthew Love at 352. All right, so Matthew Love down to his last ball. He's defined 24 yards.
These are good numbers here. 374 for Casey, 371 on Connor, and then Matt with 352. Go to the face on if you don't mind. You can't. I don't know if folks can see back there, but you got a bunch of lookers right now. You got Jacob back there, Ryan.
Underneath our cradle point tent. Underneath the tent, the cradle point tent, we have a TV set up where players can see the progress of the tournament. There's a leaderboard there.
Yeah,
So
it can be very humbling because it shows your longest ball. It shows how many balls you got into the grid on within the whole round. So
a quick reality check.
yeah, exactly. So you got somebody like Eddie that's got, I think the most was like 16 or something like that. I had a whopping 8 out of 30 golf balls. 8 were in play. So that kind of tells you. I got to work on my ball striking.
All right, so it looks like Matt Love's going to take third there. So he's mathematically eliminated. Casey Steed achieved his goal. He's got one in play. So he'll be moving on. And, of course, Connor Sterrett's at the top. So Connor is going to remain undefeated so far, a perfect 800 points. And then your next 3 competitors, Casey Steed, Dylan Orr, and James Anderson, are moving on at 500 points apiece.
Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the second group for round robin, the top 4 players moving on in first place with 800 points. Connor Sterrett.
All right.
Tied for second. 3 ways. Casey Steed, James Anderson.
And we're going to get right into it. We're going to take a moment to seed everything. And we're going to run straight into the round of 8. All right. So that does it for the first round of the amateur division. 2 groups of 9. We took the top 4 from both groups to give us 8 players. Those 8 players are now being seeded. And once Seamus has completed that, we'll get them back out here where they will hit another 6 golf balls. And the top 2 will, the top 2 from the first set of 4 will move on. And then we'll have the second 4 will hit, and the top 2 from that one will move on to give us our final 4. And then those final 4 will go up again, 6 more balls. The top 2 will advance to a heads-up match where we will hit 6 more golf balls and then crown ourselves an amateur champion. And then coming up after that, we've got the ladies division. And I'm expecting quite the dogfight for the ladies division. It's the competition's looking pretty tough there. Got Gabby Powell in the field, who's competed in, I think, 2 events, and she's finished second in both of those events. You got Monica Living, who, with a 363-yard bomb yesterday, actually qualified for the regional today. A few new competitors in the field. Sophia Arthur. This will be her first competition. So, be fun to watch, that's for sure. Got some good competitors in the field. A little bit of a wind switch here. It's now coming straight here at the booth. Not too bad. I'd say 7, maybe 8 miles an hour. Not too much, and it comes in little bursts. It's not too consistent, I would say. And we've had it come from every single direction so far today. So it's really just a coin toss, I guess. Switch on to the down the line there. You can see the beautiful Rocky Mountains in the background. Just absolutely incredible. Some of the sights that we get to see traveling for long drive. And as you can see there, the only cloud in the sky is way back there behind the mountains. So it's an absolutely beautiful day. You really couldn't ask for anything better. Yep, still waiting on the seating. Tell you what, if you hadn't had it yet, this snack bar in there makes a mean BLT. I've got this weird thing where whenever I go to a new golf course, first thing I do is judge the golf course based on their BLT. And this place ranks rather high in the BLT department, let me tell you. So we got Daniel here behind me talking about his injury. We were taping his fingers up. Definitely a lot of pain goes into this. Blood, sweat, and tears, all for the pursuit of the hardware. And I don't think anybody's ever 100% healthy out here competing in long drive, right? Everybody's got a little quirk here or there that they're dealing with.
As long as they don't blame that injury, on their course of play, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I didn't hit it good because my back's tweaked. Oh, my forearm hurts. I'm like, dude, excuses are like trash cans. Throw it away, man.
Oh, dude, my my knee, my ankle, my finger, my brain, all of that equates to my slow ball speed. All right. So Seamus has given us the go-ahead. Coming up in slot 1, we're going to have Connor K. Slot 2 is Landon Chestnut. Slot 3 is Casey Steed. And Derek Ness in slot 4. Again, these 4 will go head-to-head. They hit 6 golf balls. Top 2 advance. The bottom 2 are eliminated. And then we'll bring our second group of 4 back up. And they will do the same thing where the top 2 advance. And that will give us our final 4. We'll do it again. Top 2 advance. And then we'll do it one more time. But that time we'll have our winner. All right, local time here is 3:30. So I believe we are a little bit behind schedule. I think we were supposed to start in the ladies division at 3:30 today. So not too far. We've only got 3 sets left. Each set's 2.5 minutes. So it takes about 5 minutes if everything goes according to plan per set. So we're about 15 to 20 minutes away from an amateur champion here.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to
All right.
get away with the amateur.
Here we go.
Up now, Connor Kay, Landon Chestnut, Casey Steed, Derek Ness. Let's hear it for them, ladies and gentlemen. That grid is clear. Fire away.
All right. First ball in the air by Casey Steed.
I'm still here, folks, as well. I just had to stuff my mouth. I hadn't eaten since this morning, so I was kind of getting wafy there.
Starting
A little lightheaded.
to see 8 people on the tee box at one time.
Yeah, exactly. I'm back. This is
All right.
where it gets fun in the amateurs. You know, double elimination. These guys are definitely going at it now.
And right out of the gate, we got 2 364s.
That's good.
I think some of these guys do it on purpose.
So
They collaborate before the before the round. They're like, "Hey, man, let's tie so we can hit some more."
I have a question, maybe help our viewers out. What constitutes an amateur?
Well, technically, as per I think this year, the USGA does not recognize long drive as part of golf.
Correct.
So, really, the only difference between a professional and an amateur in long drive is essentially the entry fee. It's a lower entry fee to get into the competitions. Season memberships are cheaper. So, for somebody just starting out, doesn't quite know where they stack up against the rest of the competition, the amateur division is kind of like a good starting point.
So but here to further my question, what is the difference between an amateur like what we're seeing now versus a qualifier? Is a qualifier to get into the
So qualifying is only for the World Championship at the end of the year.
okay.
There is no qualifying for the amateur division, so any qualifying is strictly
So
for
anybody
the
can
open.
walk off the street right now and try to compete with the amateurs if there's slots available.
Correct.
If. Okay.
Correct. It's a membership organization, so all you got to do is pay your membership, and then when the registration opens for the event, you pay your entry fee, and you're in.
So I think for our viewers, that's a very important point. If you think you got it, here we are. You're more than welcome to come up and give it a try. A local qualifier is a little less stressful, but there is no really parameters. I would say if you can get a ball over 300 yards, if that, you've got a good shot at anything.
Right. And it's kind of the point of the local qualifier, right? Like it is the cheapest way to get into the sport and see how you do. You can't really compare yourself to the rest of the
Field.
sport, I guess.
Sport, right?
Typically during the locals, you're hitting by yourself. You're not on the tee box with 4 people.
Right.
You don't have the pressure of I got to get a ball in play so I can get my points in advance. Locals, it's $50, and you get your 6 golf balls, and you have 2.5 minutes, just like you would in a regular event like this. But another thing with the qualifiers is you can try more than one time.
How much is the entry for the qualifiers?
$50.
So you could, if you wanted to go 10 times, you just $500.
Right.
Okay.
Yep. And you would get 60 golf balls to hit.
That'll tell you if you're ready or not, for sure.
And every penny of that goes towards the purse of the World Championship.
Oh, that's good to know. So that's where the funding comes from. It's from
absolutely.
actually the people who enter.
One of the things that differentiates the PLDA from any other organization is we pay out every penny. Every single penny that comes into the sport gets paid right back
out to the players. You guys are
out to
almost
the
like a
players.
nonprofit in a way, or not for profit. In theory.
In theory.
We'll just use the word theory. But that's actually cool. I didn't know that. That's a good. Yeah. So every dollar going in goes straight back to the winners. That's awesome. So they're almost like it's almost like a philanthropy, if you will. I mean, this is really good to know. It feels like it. So.
All right, so here we go with this group 2.
So you and Martin are? All right. We only got 3 mics, unless you want to hand the mic to me. Huh? All right, 4. So, folks, all right, we're going to have ourselves a bumping cottage here, full of wattage for you folks when the women come out. I'm not going to say who's going to be with us, but
surprise!
It's just going to be a treat. Yeah.
Guten Tag. That's a good one. Yes.
No, far from groovin'. Good evening. I'm sure it's 2 in the morning over across the pond in Europe.
Depending on the
Looks
part.
like
I got some friends in London. I believe they're about 5 hours ahead of the East Coast, and I think we're 2 hours behind the East Coast. So if my math is correct, it is about 10:40, 10:37, somewhere in there. Still no numbers on the board just yet.
This is kind of where I'm getting at. So, this is where it gets hard. A lot of these guys in the amateur division, they probably exerted most of their energy, so they got to conserve. And I think this is where you learn how to do that. I don't know what these guys did between, some of these guys haven't hit in 15 minutes. So, if you got nerves, what the natural tendency to do is go to the range and just keep banging balls. And it's actually counterintuitive, believe it or not. You want to pace yourself. Is that a 2.8 lens, that 15 to 25 or 35? No, it's a 2.0. That's why it's bigger.
Still no numbers on the board.
Yeah, for this kind of stuff, you don't want to use that.
Wouldn't this be interesting if we had ourselves a 4-way OB? Oh, James Anderson, 341. So there goes that theory. So James Anderson in at 341.
Oh, did he make it in?
Still no marks for anyone else.
Did James make it in?
And
to
the time.
I did not know that.
And time expired there, so Clinton Oliver's last ball, unfortunately, is not going to count. And as it looks, we're going to have to have a we're going to have a playoff here.
For 3, really?
Yeah.
Now, when we have a playoff, remind everybody again, is it 3 balls?
It's a good question. Typically what we do is if it's for seeding, it's 3 balls. If it's for elimination, it's 6 balls. Here we have a 3-way OB. We have to take at least 2 from this group. So those 3 will hit again. I'm couldn't tell you, to be honest, how many balls are going to hit. That would be up to the infamous Ryan Rees back there. Got the Emmys there on walking to slot 1. So James moves on. He can breathe easy for the moment. You go OB your first 4 balls. It's never good on the nerves, but getting that 341 in, I'm sure you could take a deep breath and relax a little bit.
Well, I think the other thing to remember is, when these guys are hitting, as soon as that ball's gone, it's gone. You can't think about it. You just got to move on to the next one. So you're going to have to treat the mentality of it like playing a golf shot.
Yep.
That's the number one thing PGA Tour players are taught, from what I was told, is when you're playing, as soon as that ball is struck, you're on to the next shot. You have to. You can't dwell on it because that's where your head games start to happen.
Tiger made a really good point to his son. He said after you hit a shot, you can get as mad, you can get as upset, you can cuss, you can do whatever you want to do, but as soon as you step over that next ball, you got to forget about it. He said forget about it.
Yeah, exactly.
The only shot that matters at that point is the one that you're about to hit.
Good point.
All right, so let's take a look here. It looks like they have 6 golf balls. So we are following our normal tradition here.
So again, this is a playoff to move into the next round. So they only need 1. So only 1 out of these 3 hitters is going to advance.
That's correct.
James Anderson advanced with a 341, just to be clear. So this is just an example of what happens on a tie.
So it looks like we're about ready to go here.
So we're taking
All right.
just the longest ball.
So the way-
There's no points, just
Correct.
the longest ball.
Correct. The way our scoring system works, it's very, very particular.
It's very the way long drive used to be.
It doesn't like things that are out of the norm. So to avoid it going into a total conniption fit, the only ball that is going to be recorded on the scoring system will be the longest. Our ball callers are following the traditional method of pen and paper right now. So unfortunately, we won't have any live updates as to what's going on. But hopefully these players will be rather vocal.
Is anybody calling numbers or no? I guess we'll know at the end.
Yeah.
So, again, just like what Robbie said, since this is a playoff, they're not really calling back and posting. We will just find out here as soon as they're done.
All right, so just based off body language there, it looks like Dylan would no be on that one. Oh, we have a 361 on our scoring system, so they may be turning me into a liar here.
But who did that?
Dylan Orr in slot 4 has
Oh,
a
nice.
361.
My man in the shirt that I like so much. Okay, he's waiting. He's waiting. He's trying to guide the ball. Okay, slot 1, just push 1. Uh-oh, looks like it's coming back. We might have that in play, folks. That is in play. See what that it's called back on slot 1.
And it looks like we've actually circled back to the Kesha playlist. So for the second time today, we are hearing all of Kesha's music.
What's that? Oh, this music is just 100% non-awesomeness.
It's Kesha, man. You want to like Kesha?
Yeah, if you're a 15-year-old teeny bopper.
All right, so Connor Sterrett, 389. He's currently in the lead.
We're
Dylan Orr.
trying. I'm like thumbs down here to Seamus. I'm trying to talk to our MC. Change it. He's doing the disco over there. Okay, here we go. We got
All right, so
Boston over here and trying to
That last
reciprocate
ball
here.
for Clint Oliver is not going to count. So it looks like Connor Sterrett is going to be moving on with James Anderson at 389 yards.
Yeah, it's over. We're going to find out here, folks, in just a second. Who moved on? So there's a little bit of side chatter. Hopefully nobody hears about that with the music.
no.
Okay.
Everybody's giving Seamus crap. I love it.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite things about this community, right? It's like we don't care about each other's feelings in the end, right? We'll throw insults left and right, and at the end of the day, we'll still go to dinner. It's beautiful.
One thing I've noticed is the music hasn't been this loud as at this event as it has been others.
You can blame that on me.
Well, you know what? I'm okay with that because I can actually hear myself talk.
Yeah, I'm an old man when it comes to music. I like it turned around, 5, maybe 6 on the volume.
Where
meter.
they need to put the music is at the range. Get those guys amped up out there. So as we wait for our final numbers here, we're just kind of waiting to see. This is the anticipation. Wind has picked up just a scotch, as we say in the medical world. Still nice, beautiful, sunny day out here, West Bountiful, Utah. We've got about 95-ish on the weather. I'm looking out here towards the grid. People are just grabbing balls where they can. It's kind of interesting. The grid is actually part of a driving range, and where hang on, here we go.
Connor Sterrett, 389 yards. Dylan Orr, 361. Clint Oliver, OB.
All right, so here we have it. Our final 4 players. Getting them seated, and they'll be right back on the tee box here in a few minutes. They'll hit 6 golf balls. We'll take the top 2. They'll hit 6 more golf balls, and then we'll have ourselves a winner. The Rockwell Blast amateur champion.
Connor Sterrett, Connor K, James
Okay, it's about to get
Making their way
real.
to the tee box now.
I said Casey Steed, Connor Sterrett, Connor
So in slot 1, we're going to have Casey Steed.
Here we go. We got some clapping. So these 4 will go to 2. So what I was saying earlier is if you look out, are we down the line right now, or are we face on? We're face on. So let's go down the line here. If you can see the grid, it's the little yellow signs out there. But what I was saying earlier is this is part of a normal active driving range, and the hitters that are warming up are just to the left. So I was asking earlier, normally you don't want to hit into the grid, because it can get confusing and kind of, frankly, dangerous.
Yeah, it's quite the hazard for our
Because
grid workers.
you've got folks out there that are actually, literally going to call the balls of where they're at and where they landed. And the last thing you want is a, wild range ball coming your way. So they haven't really said. My point is this: they haven't said much today, so there hasn't been an issue. So it's kind of nice.
Thing. That's a really good thing. Because in the event that a golf ball comes close to a grid worker and we start fearing for safety out there, we definitely make the announcements. But we hadn't had to worry about that too much today. So, and we do take every precaution necessary. We actually have some specifically designed hats for the grid workers to wear. They're kind of like bike helmets, but they look like golf hats.
Casey just yelled at his ball, so he must have liked it. He's telling it to go. Common word being yelled out here. I'm really impressed with James. He's very focused. I've heard one peep from him all day. Oh, I just heard one. He's switching clubs. A lot of guys do that. Connor just hit a nugget. He's getting some claps on that one. So normally you'll see folks, men and women, they'll have 2 or 3 rigs with them, meaning drivers. So if one's not playing one way, they'll go to either a harder or a softer shaft, maybe a different loft. It's just adjustments on the fly. A lot of folks out here are hitting 5-degree heads, some higher, some lower, but this seems to be the standard. Connor going to 388 against Casey Steed's 380. Those are your 2 leaders right now. We get some oohs and ahs on the crowd.
Connor K, 395.
Man, I am just impressed. Slot 3, I just keep reiterating, this kid is 16 years old. He's hitting this ball this far in competition. So this man, you will be seeing a lot of him in the future, bar he doesn't get hurt in long drive. Because he's basically growing up as we speak, under this pressure. And that plays a lot into it. People don't realize you get on the box and there's a level of stress that comes over you, and you got to learn to shake it or deal with it or play through it. A lot of times you don't get over that unless you get reps. The only way you get reps is by competing.
Connor Sterrett, 400 yards.
You have got to beat me. That's insane.
Wow.
Wow.
Talk about a tough group right there. Still waiting on James's last 2 balls. That's just incredible. 400 yards, 395, 380, 360. Ball 5 for James OB. Still waiting on his 6th ball.
There's a question on the feed here about moving the tee box. Mm-hmm. You think they'll adjust that a little bit?
Yeah.
Pull it back in like a.
Really, it all depends. It all depends on the conditions of the tee box. This is actually a very, very good tee box.
Yeah, no, I agree.
There's not a whole lot of damage. I mean,
slot 3 doesn't look too good though.
Yeah, there's a little roughness in slot 3, but it's wide enough that players can find a comfortable position there. We have been to venues in the past where it's been a little soft, a little soggy sometimes, and we will have to move the tee box. But typically it's in between competitions.
Right.
We never do that in the middle of a competition for obvious reasons. So Connor Sterrett and Connor K will be moving on to the finals here.
400 yards.
Yep. Battle of the Connors. And not going to say I'm surprised to see either one of them here in the finals.
This
They're-
guy has hit about 80 golf balls, it seems like,
Yeah.
going into this.
Yeah.
80,000.
But
Looking out at the range over there, we've got the women warming up. They are, looks like they're stealing tees. You got it. It's just littered with tees. You know, obviously half of them broken. So, we kind of got a little bit of a lull here before these guys get going.
there's a TJ lesson saying the roughness of the tee box can help with horizontal ground reaction force. So, horizontal ground reaction force. The roughness of the grass and the spikes and all that. So.
I would agree to an extent, but I'm talking when it's pitted.
Yeah,
That's
when there's a hole there, it's kind of like a pitcher's mound, right? But. All right, here we go.
Okay.
Final two of the amateur division.
For all the beans. Oh, first ball out of the chute. This is going to be a good one, folks. I'm going to try to tell you the ball flights as they go out here. Connor hitting the orange ball. Okay, he
First ball
looks like
for
he
Connor
pushed that.
Sterrett.
Yeah, he kind of punched that.
First ball for Connor Sterrett, 395 yards. Right out the gates.
Connor Sterrett did, yeah. So it's the battle of the Connors, spelled differently. Let me see that. There you go. The one thing I can tell you, these guys look tired. These two are going to sleep good tonight, along with everybody else, for that matter.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this guy included.
Yeah. Well, no, obviously, you probably don't want to talk to anybody for the next 5 days.
I'm a talker, so I wouldn't say that. But I'll definitely sleep a long time Saturday night, Sunday morning.
Okay. So he's pushing that. So this is, based on what I'm seeing here, Connor K might be trying to push it a little bit too much. Kind of relax and set in.
All right, so 383 for Connor. Connor K. I have to specify the last names on this set.
Can we just say Connor K and Connor C?
Well, Connor K is his last name.
Yeah. I get you. Oh, that's a good ball there. That's a really good ball if it stays. It's dropping now. It's kind of on the right side. So we got 383 versus 395 on the Connors. If that thing's tracking left, OB.
All right, folks, that's going to do it. I'll take that one. That's going to do it for the amateur division, ladies and gentlemen. Connor Sterrett is our champion with a drive of 395 yards here in the finals.
With a drive of 395 yards. Connor Sterrett is your amateur champion.
Congratulations, Connor. He's 406. Wow. 6-ball, 406 yards. But, congratulations, Connor. He's been around for a few amateur competitions now, and he's always done well. He just hasn't been able to break that final barrier and get into the winner's circle. So it's nice to see him finally achieve that.
Thought my cheering for Connor was funny. I kept saying, "Let's go, Connor!" Folks, we're gonna move over here because we're on the broadcast. Okay, we're gonna move over here to the broadcast real quick. Congratulations, Connor Sterrett.
Appreciate it.
Connor with the K. This doesn't work very well, so. Only one? Yep. All right, guys. I'm going to have to hold the mic, so you're going to have to speak into it loudly. You're sweating, Connor.
Ridiculously sweaty. It's not even funny.
Because you were hitting hot. You were hitting hot, too.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I don't know what to say.
You qualified for Worlds earlier. You just finished runner up. You've won one of these before, one or two? One. You.
I won one earlier this year, and then I've took top 3 and 3 of them this year as well.
Congratulations. Great work again today. Like I told you a few minutes ago, I've gotten more compliments out of you today than anybody else. So people are impressed. Fantastic job again today. So Connor Starrett, let's talk about this. Is your first win?
This is my first win, and chasing this young guy all the time is fucking hard. I can't cuss.
Bleep that.
Oops. It's hard, but he's a great competitor. I always like going against him, and I know it's going to be a dogfight every time I go against him. I trained really hard for this moment, and I'm glad work paid off, and let's go back.
I know you've been to the One Stop Power Shop. You've been to a lot of events this year. What about today was different than other times you've been competing?
Honestly, I was just hitting my ball, and that's the biggest thing. I work on grid work and try to get as many balls as possible on the grid, and that works. My coach tells me I need to get balls in, so when I go home, I go back to the drawing board, and I do what he says.
The wind kind of laid down here at the end. I know the folks at home probably can't see that very well, but there's really no wind at all right now. So you had 395 the previous round, the semifinals. This last round, 395 was your first ball. I think that put a little pressure on Connor K. Tell me, what did it do for you the rest of the set?
It took a lot off my shoulders. I mean, getting a big ball, the first ball you got 5 balls to play with, and that's what I was really doing. I was playing with different shots, different flights, and that last ball I tried to go a little bit higher because I felt a little wind in my back, and turns out I was right on that one. I went 406, so that worked out for my case.
I think that might have been the longest ball in the whole amateur competition. Very impressive. Way to finish strong. We've got your award for you. You've got your winning golf ball coming up. Congratulations. There you go.
Sweet.
We'll get some pictures on social media, but well deserved. I'll give you a hug, brother. Well deserved win. Well deserved win, man. I know how hard it is to get a victory in long drive,
yeah,
and
it's pretty tedious. You get down on yourself and you wonder if you're doing the right things, and you just gotta trust in yourself, honestly. And you're the only person you're going against on the tee box.
You went OB a few rounds ago, right?
This morning I couldn't find a swing this morning at all, so I relaxed and I went back to the range and I worked on aiming and positioning and went through all my positions and all my pre-workout routines, and it worked in this event. Maybe I'm just not a morning person. That too.
Let's stick to the afternoon competitions. Good job. All right, we're about ready to start the ladies division, so stick around, folks. Go see Landon. He's going to take care of some social media stuff for you real quick. I'm going to turn this back over to the broadcast. Thank you, Robbie.
All right. So that's going to do it for the amateur division, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate everyone tuning in. We're going to shut it down, and we're going to bring it right back because we're rolling straight into the ladies division. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned.